Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We have some light showers out there. We may have some breezy conditions. No tornadoes this round, but we will talk about how long the rain will last.
A dream vacation becomes a nightmare. The man charged with opening fire at a coastal bar heads to court today. Plus, a school bus crash. An SUV collides with a bus with children on board. What we know about the condition of everyone involved. It is a WRAL weather alert day, and you're looking live at Apex via the WRAL live camera network. We expect scattered showers for much of the area through the afternoon. Here's a live look at Apex. Good afternoon. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Our WRAL meteorologist is bringing you up to the minute changes in our forecast to keep you safe. Chris Michaels explains the changing pattern for Tropical Storm Imelda and the rain it'll bring us.
Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Storm Tracker with a look at road conditions. We begin with Elizabeth Gardner and a look at how much rain could fall. Elizabeth.
We're going to start with a wide view of our next weather maker, which is this plume of tropical moisture that's moving up across our area. This is not necessarily related to Imelda. It's just this flow that's coming up from the south. And we've actually seen this on and off for the last several days. A little bit heavier over here around Sanford and in the eastern part of Chatham County. And then beyond that, we're just looking at some scattered light rainfall. We'll zoom in again. You can see from Sanford up toward Jordan Lake and Carborough, it's a little bit heavier. But we're going to continue to see these waves on and off for the remainder of the day. And of course, that's going to make for a messy evening commute. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is out in the storm tracker right now. So we'll check in with Kat. I can see the rain on the window beside you. I know it's messy out there.
Oh, it absolutely is, Elizabeth. Now, we aren't seeing any kind of flooding or anything like that on the roads around downtown Apex. And we chose to drive through Apex right now because it's southwest Wake County that the rain is a little bit heavier. It's starting to lighten up around the Raleigh area. But this is the rain that's going to be making its way into Chatham County, pushing to the west right now. It's the opposite of how we usually see storms move from west to east. Today, because of that tropical system, it is moving from east to west. Around downtown Apex, we're just passing the Center Street cross section there. You can see the rain on the lens, no significant traffic issues. However, with us seeing the rain like this on and off throughout the day, we could see more significant ponding on the roads by the time we get to the evening commute. And that's one of the reasons why today is a WRAL weather alert day. A lot of folks definitely happy to finally see some healthier rain. We need it with the abnormally dry conditions. How is it looking for the remaining of the afternoon, Elizabeth?
Yeah, thanks, Kat. That's all great information. We're going to take a look at Futurecast, and we just continue to see these waves of rain coming through for the rest of the day. There's 5 o'clock, so there'll definitely be some light patchy rain around during the evening commute, which, you know, typically, even if it's not a lot, causes some issues out there. And then we'll stop here at midnight. We are likely to see a bit more rain tonight and tomorrow. And all total, we could end up with anywhere from half an inch to an inch of rain. We're not likely to see a whole lot more than that across our area, and so that's not likely to cause any flooding. Here's Tropical Storm Imelda, and the latest from Imelda, winds at 60 miles per hour, so it's getting a little closer to hurricane strength. Right there is Umberto, which is a powerful storm. We're going to talk more about Umberto in just a little while. It looks like by tomorrow morning, Imelda is a Category 1 storm, but no change with the 11 o'clock advisory. It stays well off the coast. So what are we looking at? It's moving north just for today, and then Umberto will help to tug it east tomorrow and take it away from the United States, and that keeps our rainfall a little bit lower. This is where Kat was just a few minutes ago. We can't still see the storm tracker where she is, but 68 degrees, our dew point 67, so it's cool right now, and our temperatures only make it into the low 70s. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the breezy conditions we could see with this system.
Elizabeth, thanks. At one point, it looked like Imelda might make landfall in South Carolina, and now we know the storm will go out to sea. WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us how 2 tools in the weather arsenal led to the forecast change.
If you were to look at the forecast trends last Thursday, even last Friday morning, it appeared as though there was going to be a landfall in South Carolina. But Amy, Mike, and Kat all started to notice a shift in the trend last Friday afternoon that was taking our storm out to sea. And a lot of that has to do with 2 key tools that we use. Number 1, weather balloons on land. And number 2, Hurricane Hunter aircraft that were flying into Imelda and flying into Umberto. So what those 2 things do is they collect real real-time data. So the balloons were doing that over land. The hurricane hunters were doing that within the storms. That real-time observational data was getting fed into the forecast models. And then all of a sudden, the models started to hop onto a trend. What we started noticing was that low pressure over land was far too weak to grab Imelda and pull it toward us, while at the same time, Imelda was slower to form. That allowed Umberto to catch up and then eventually pull Imelda away from the U.S. So that's why we noticed pretty much a complete 180 in the trend. This is a 180 that we're thankful to have because it avoids any kind of landfalling storm, although we continue to see some periods of rain as we head from now through Tuesday afternoon.
Chris, thank you. Remember, when severe weather is in your area, we want to see what you see. Take pictures and video when it's safe to do so and send it to us at WRAL.com/report it. You can upload what you see there and we'll share your pictures and video on TV and online.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Governor Josh Stein in Southport today following that deadly mass shooting. That shooting in Southport killed 3 people and left 5 others injured. That's a coastal bar there in the Southport area. We're talking about the American Fish Company. 40-year-old Nigel Edge is due in court this afternoon, accused in that shooting. Police say he opened fire on that bar from his boat with an AR-style rifle. We're still waiting to find out the names of the victims, all of whom police say are from out of state. WRAL's Monica Casey is in Southport working the story, trying to get any new information. She'll join us with a live report coming up in the next half hour.
All right, thank you, Ken. The man charged with killing Charlie Kirk is expected to face a judge at any minute. Tyler Robinson is set to appear virtually with his new legal counsel. Robinson has been charged with aggravated murder, which is a capital felony. He also faces other felony and misdemeanor charges. The Utah County Attorney is seeking the death penalty. Search and recovery crews are looking for 7 missing people after an act of targeted violence at a church near Detroit, Michigan. The FBI says at least 4 people were killed and others wounded on Sunday when a man plowed his pickup truck into the church, shot at hundreds of worshipers, then burned down the building. NBC's Jay Gray reports the suspect was shot and killed, but the investigation is ongoing.
Well, since sunrise here, we've continued to see a steady stream of federal agents as well as state and local police moving through these barricades back to the crime scene here. We know that they continue to sift through the charred rubble of the church. There are as many as 7 church members that are still unaccounted for. And so as they continue to try and identify those church members as well as search for evidence, that effort going on not only here at the scene of the crime, but also at the residence of the suspect in this case. Let's talk a little bit about him. Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40 years old, ex-Marine who served at least 1 tour on combat duty in Iraq. He is from the area, that residence that they've been going through, only about 8 miles from the scene here. Now, as we told you, there are still church members missing, as many as 7. That's a primary focus, obviously, here. I can tell you that teams have really been working around the clock, nonstop, since the attack, going through that area of the church, dealing overnight with some hot spots as well as some walls that collapsed as a result of structural damage from that fire. The church is said to be a total loss, and so working through that is something that's going to be a slow, a tedious process. This really just the beginning of what's going to be a very intense investigation here as this community tries to begin to find some way to deal with the overwhelming pain and start to move forward. As shock wears away, it's clear that's going to take some time as well. That's the latest from here in Grand Blanc. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.
And in the wake of yesterday morning's attack, we are also hearing from the local Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints community. The attack comes one day after the death of Church President Russell Nelson at 101 years old. Church members in Raleigh say they are rallying support around those in Michigan, but say the support does not deny the need to address security measures at local churches. A security expert outlined how the church can do that.
Well, we put ballards, concrete ballards right up front of the entrance where a car cannot penetrate it. Have a security team. You might take, a handful of security guys and give them additional training.
Investigators have not yet determined a motive. They've also not said whether there is a connection between the suspect and the church.
No word on charges yet in a collision involving an SUV and a school bus. This happened just before 7:30 at NC 50 and Mount Pleasant Road. The bus was headed to McGee's Crossroad Middle School. There were 9 students on that bus, but there were no injuries. Neither driver was hurt. And deputies in Durham say a driver is in custody after a crash between a minivan and a slingshot. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 4:30 this morning. You can see the minivan and 3-wheeled vehicle being loaded onto that tow truck. This happened near the intersection of North Mineral Springs Road and Freeman Road. The driver of the slingshot was hurt. We are working to learn the charges the minivan driver may face, as well as their condition.
Next at noon, President Trump will meet with congressional leaders today at the White House, hoping to avoid a government shutdown. What's at stake?
Also, we are tracking Tropical Storm Imelda, how our state is preparing for the worst case scenario.
And Governor Stein is expected to visit Southport following the mass shooting there that left 3 people dead. We will check in with WRAL's Monica Casey, who's there right now.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
In a last-ditch effort to prevent a government shutdown, President Trump will meet with the top 4 congressional leaders today at the White House. Government funding is set to run out on Tuesday night, with both sides remaining dug in on their positions. While both sides haggle, millions of government workers' futures hang in the balance, in addition to the possibility of layoffs. Many will be furloughed or be forced to work without pay, including certain members of the military and agencies, including the TSA.
The president will also meet today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. President Trump has proposed a 21-point ceasefire and post-war governance plan. Trump projected optimism, saying something special is coming. However, Netanyahu says talks are ongoing. He's expected to push for changes. The plan includes the release of all hostages held by Hamas. However, Hamas leaders say they have not received any new proposals for ceasefire. Electronic Arts is going private in a $55 billion deal that's funded by Saudi Arabia and an investment firm backed by President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The video game company is behind such hits as Madden NFL, The Sims, and Battlefield. The consortium is paying shareholders $210 per share, making it the largest buyout on record. The deal is expected to close in the first quarter of fiscal year 2027 and is subject to regulatory approval.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, President Trump threatening to impose a 100% tariff on movies made outside of the United States. You see the headlines all over Reuters and other publications. The president said he's not specifying exactly which tariffs will be imposed or how it will be imposed on which movies, particularly those movies made partially outside of the United States. We're still working to figure that out. Back in May, if you recall, the president threatened to put a 100% tariff on foreign-made films. That was back in May.
All right, thanks, Ken. North Carolina started preparing for the worst-case scenario long before we knew what the storm would do. We're talking about Imelda. WRAL's Laura Levine shows us how Wake County emergency management teams plan to deal with heavy rain here and dangerous waters on our coast.
Emergency management officials here in Raleigh say that they have been preparing for the storm since late last week. And although the track of Imelda has shifted away from North Carolina, there is still some concern about flooding along the North Carolina coast. So they are preparing for the worst. Now, Governor Josh Stein issued a state of emergency over the weekend. And this is an effort to really eliminate any red tape. This will make it easier to get resources and relief out to those who may need it.
Really, that just opens the door for state and local agencies to work closely together, and it removes different barriers.
The state has assembled 6 swift water rescue crews with more than 100 personnel, 2 urban search and rescue teams specializing in building collapses, and also nearly 400 state National Guard soldiers are on standby.
We want to make sure that we have the resources staged and ready to go if any of our counties, cities, or towns need additional resources to supplement first responders as we go through the beginning of the week with the uncertainty still in the rainfall forecast.
He also says that they have resources ready to go and move into eastern North Carolina quickly if needed as well. Laura Levine, WRAL News, Raleigh.
And although Imelda is unlikely to impact the triangle, you can prepare your family for the next storm. Pack your emergency kit, stock up on supplies, and make a communication plan. You can find the checklist on WRAL.com/hurricanes. All right, I am in the WRAL Severe Weather Center now with Elizabeth, talking about Imelda. Not going to make landfall. It's going out to sea, but we're still going to see some effects.
Yeah, we still have rain in our forecast. It's been raining since this morning. We could end up with a half an inch to an inch. There may be some pockets where it's a little heavier because we will see it for the rest of the day today, tonight, and for about the first half of the day tomorrow. We'll also see winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, especially during the day tomorrow. That's typically not enough rain to cause any problems. You'll just notice that it's a bit breezy. And of course, the storm isn't going to come close enough to us to put us in that zone where we typically see tornadoes. Let's talk about Imelda right here. This, of course, is Umberto, a very powerful storm. But Imelda is about 265 miles southeast of Cape Canaveral, which is right about here. It's moving north at 9 miles per hour. The wind's at 60 miles per hour, and it is likely to become a hurricane by the time we get to early tomorrow. You can see it traveling north and pretty quickly northeastward, and then boom. I mean, it just travels fast, potentially across Bermuda, but it'll be moving fast, but it could have 90 mile per hour winds as it moves across Bermuda. We take a look at Hurricane Umberto, about 360 miles south of Bermuda right now, moving northwest at 13 with winds at 145. So it's a powerful Category 4 storm, much stronger than Imelda, and that is the key to what's happening here. It goes north and then also gets kicked out to the east. It's going to be close to Cat 3 as it passes by Bermuda, so Bermuda will likely have some impacts, but we could also, especially along the Outer Banks, we might have some overwash on Highway 12. We'll definitely have some breezy conditions and some beach erosion. We shouldn't have any impacts for the rest of our coast, however. So here's Imelda on the radar. It's been sending some rain our way, or at least we've had some tropical moisture moving our way. Because Umberto is so much more powerful, it is helping to drag Imelda back out to sea. As it moves away, it'll start to pull it away as well. And so that's definitely good news. We're definitely looking at the potential for some scattered showers for the rest of the day today, tonight, and into the day tomorrow. We'll zoom in, and you can see some of that heavier rain back off to the west. As a matter of fact, Kat Campbell's in the storm tracker on I-40 heading toward the airport, where we do have some slightly heavier rain that's beginning to fall in that area. You can see windshield wipers going. Fortunately, the traffic is moving along just fine, but it could be messy for the evening commute. Even though the rain isn't likely to be heavy, we could have some issues in places. So make sure you tune in to Kat and Mike later on this evening for exactly what's happening out there. A little bit of a break in the precipitation around Raleigh, but we do have some heavier rain back to the west. So far, we've seen rain averaging anywhere from 1/10 to about 1/4 of an inch, but there have been some pockets around the triangle where it's been 4/10 to about 1/2 inch. Officially at the airport, about 1/2 inch of rain. It does continue for the rest of the day today and tonight. This is a look at 6 p.m., so plenty of rain for the evening commute. We'll roll it on ahead into tomorrow morning. A little bit of a break overnight. But then by the time we get to the morning commute, we're dealing with some rain. Once we hit the afternoon, it moves back to just isolated showers, and that steady rain should begin to taper off. All total, probably going to end up somewhere at around 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain. This is through this evening, which is about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. But by tomorrow, late in the day, probably about 1.5 inches of rainfall. We take a look at downtown Raleigh from our Jimmy V camera. It's wet out there. People have been walking around with their umbrellas. It is 68 degrees currently, and it'll be somewhat breezy this afternoon, about 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, which isn't enough to cause us any real problems. We'll take a look at what we could end up seeing for tomorrow coming up. Temperatures will be cool tomorrow, just like today at 71, but tomorrow stays fairly wet. After that, the sunshine returns, and we have some nice weather in our forecast, at least to wrap up the work week.
Looking forward to that. Elizabeth, thank you. Remembering a daughter, NC State football's defensive coach lost his teen daughter to cancer. How she's being remembered by the team this afternoon at 4.
And then at 5:30, arrested with 48 guns. How investigators used a string of break-ins to track down a man with nearly 50 guns. More than a dozen of them were stolen. And still ahead this afternoon, transformative technology, how Target is boosting inclusivity for people with disabilities.
And Raleigh Market renovations. The annual State Fair hiatus will last a bit longer this year. How long dozens of businesses will have to spend in a new location?
People who signed up for a fitness app say their bank account was hit with unexpected charges. There's a pattern of these complaints involving the Lasta healthy weight loss app. 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe has a warning from one customer.
Lasta markets itself as a wellness app assistant, helping you build healthy habits through fasting, diet tracking, and exercise. But customers say that after signing up for the app, they were charged for things they didn't agree to.
I thought I was getting a free trial to learn how to eat right and exercise. And the next thing I knew, I got charged $10. And so I tried to cancel it, but I got charged $10 again.
Joyce Fuller of Hope Mills is one of hundreds of people who have filed complaints about Lasta with the Better Business Bureau. The BBB issued an alert saying Lasta has a pattern of unanswered complaints concerning receiving recurring charges after signing up for a free trial. Fuller was eventually able to get Lasta to stop charging her, but she's still frustrated.
I'm beginning to think that there's nothing to sign up for. If it says it's free, it's not. If it says it's coming to you, it's not. There is nothing out there that they're giving away. Nothing. Don't fall for it.
5 on Your Side asked Lasta for their response to all these complaints against them. So far, they have not responded. Ashley Rowe, 5 on Your Side.
Full Sail University is accused of a massive scheme involving fake jobs for graduates. The complaint was initially filed in 2024. It claims the Los Angeles Film School and Full Sail University self-financed thousands of temporary employment opportunities for the graduates through schemes with nonprofits and paid-off vendors. For-profit universities, like Full Sail, risk losing accreditation and federal financial aid if it fails to meet gainful employment standards. Full Sail University emphatically denies the claims. The USDA is recalling several types of corn dog products because pieces of wood could be in the batter. The recall includes 59 million pounds of State Fair corn dogs on a stick and Jimmy Dean pancakes and sausage on a stick. Hillshire, which produces both products, has received multiple complaints, including 5 injuries. Consumers should throw them out immediately or return them to the store for a refund.
YouTube is taking on Spotify's AI DJ.
It's a WRAL weather alert day, and you're looking live at Wilson from the WRAL live camera network. Gray skies out there and the rain falling. We expect scattered showers for much of the area throughout the afternoon.
And our meteorologists are bringing you up-to-the-minute changes in our forecast to help keep you safe. Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Storm Tracker with a look at the road conditions. But we begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at how much rain we could see. Elizabeth.
So far, officially at RDU, it's been about half an inch. And so we're looking at half an inch to an inch. But there may be some pockets where we're seeing up to 1.5 inches. Some of the models are hinting at that. It'll be breezy. Right now, our winds are only gusting to about 15 miles per hour. But tomorrow in particular, we may see some gusts at 20 to 30. That's typically not enough to cause any problems. You'll just notice that it's a bit breezy. And because the center of Imelda is going to pass so far from us, we're not going to be in the zone where we typically see tornadoes developing near a tropical system. What we are seeing is just a solid flow of tropical moisture moving up into our area. And notice how it's just funneled pretty much directly into our area. Not a lot of rain falling at the coast, not a lot of rain falling really past the triad. It's just we happen to be in the line. Somebody turned the fire hose on, and the rain's just going to continue to keep coming for us for the rest of the day today, as well as tonight and into early tomorrow. We'll zoom in, and some of that heavier rain is moving into parts of Chatham County, as well as Durham and Orange counties. Let's take a look at where Kat Campbell is right now, and you can see the storm tracker moving closer to Morrisville right now. Kat, are you noticing any difference than you did when you were over in Apex?
Absolutely. The rain is lightening up around the Cary area, Elizabeth. That heavier rain is pushing into Chatham County now, but you can tell that the rain has tropical origins just by how humid it is outside. Still, some raindrops on the lens here when we look at our camera on top of the WRAL storm tracker. We can use the windshield wiper on the camera so you can see a better look. We're driving on Maynard Road right now in Cary, and we do have a report of a possible tree down. We're about 3 minutes away from that location. So we're going to check that out. We'll let you know if there's anything significant. I just did a quick check on the power outages, and we haven't seen any issues with anything like that for trees coming down. But the rain is lightening up around Cary at the moment, Raleigh as well. Don't let your guard down yet, though. We're still going to see these bands of rain move in, and the evening commute could be messy in some areas with the rain that we've already picked up so far today, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Kat. Be careful out there. We'll take a look at Futurecast again, and you can see that, yes, in fact, we do have more rain in the forecast. This is 5 o'clock, and you can see those scattered showers across the region. It actually continues overnight and into the day tomorrow. This is a look at your evening commute forecast. Looking at our temperatures between 5 and 7 o'clock in the low 70s. So it is on the cooler side, but as Kat said, it's really humid out there. There's a lot of tropical moisture around, and we'll keep it at a 60% chance between 5 and 7. So just stay tuned. If you can, turn us on before you head out the door. And of course, we'll let you know if there are any issues. Tomorrow morning, also likely to be a weather alert day. We're going to end up with some light scattered showers. Roads could be messy all the way up until lunchtime. And then tomorrow afternoon, most of the area begins to dry out. And once this moves out, we have some pretty weather to wrap up the week. We'll take a look at that coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Remember, when severe weather is in your area, we want to see what you see. Take pictures and video when it's safe to do so and send it to us at WRAL.com/report it. You can upload what you see there, and we'll share your pictures and video on television and online.
We are expecting new details about the victims and suspect in last weekend's mass shooting in Southport. 3 people were killed and 5 injured on Saturday night. Governor Stein will be speaking at a press conference in less than an hour. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in Southport for us this afternoon near a growing memorial. Monica.
Michelle, this is the scene here in front of the American Fish Company in Southport, where police say that gunman opened fire from a boat on people who were out here just listening to live music. You can see flowers, candles, even artwork here to honor those victims. This shooting happened around 9:30 Saturday night, and the Coast Guard detained Nigel Edge just after 10 o'clock. In a press conference on Sunday morning, the Brunswick County District Attorney said many of the victims in this case were not Southport residents, and the warrants only show initials of those victims because they are still working to notify family members.
The thread that connects everyone who's a victim in this case to this point just appears to be a love of having a good time and enjoying all that Southport has to offer.
We can expect to learn more about who those victims were in today's 1 o'clock press conference. We are also expecting new details in Nigel Edge's 2 p.m. court appearance. That 40-year-old man is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Oak Island police say he is a resident there and that he is known to their department. They say Edge identified himself as a combat veteran suffering from PTSD. Now, in a social media post, the owners of the American Fish Company say this restaurant will be closed indefinitely. Live in Southport, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. I want to take you to these live pictures right now coming in. This is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer giving an update along with other Michigan leaders on the deadly shooting at that Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Church there in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The governor and other officials will be giving some new numbers, some new information. We're listening in on this press conference. And as soon as we find out any new information about that shooting that's really rocked that community there in Grand Blanc, we'll bring it to you here in the WRAL Live Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. Coming up, adult ADHD, why so many have gone undiagnosed, and how to find the right treatment.
Plus, coffee perks. It's so much more than a vehicle for caffeine. What new research says coffee can do for you. The Chapel Hill Police Department has a new home. The department's move from the old building on Martin Luther King Boulevard has been years in the making. The old site had issues with pests, leaking, and serious environmental concerns. The new headquarters features a new training space, a room for nursing mothers, and has an improved protocol for detainees. The new police building is over on Millhouse Road.
You won't be able to shop at the Raleigh market for a little while. Sunday was the last day before the state fair took over the fairgrounds. The outdoor part of the Raleigh market will reopen on November 8th, but the indoor part will be closed until late spring because of roof repairs to the two buildings where it's housed. Some shoppers say they're disappointed about that.
My family, we're usually here 4 or 5 times a month just to kind of stroll through, it's a Saturday or Sunday. So, hoping that it'll be open sooner than later.
The last day was a busy one for the Raleigh market. The parking lots filled up at one point and people were parking along the streets.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, as we promised, we're going to keep you updated about road conditions and anything that's happening as a result of the rainy weather that we've been having. Right now, we have these live pictures coming into our newsroom right now. There's a tree down at Plantation Drive, not far from Southwest Maynard. You can see first responders working that scene. This appears to be in a residential area. Meteorologist Kat Campbell and just arrived there on the scene. We'll get a live report from her coming up in just a few minutes, but we wanted to let you know what's happening there just in case you live in this area. This is what's happening, and you might want to avoid Plantation Drive for right now.
Ken, thanks for the heads up. Adult ADHD. Social media videos have millions of people talking about the mental disorder. Why experts warn adults about the dangers of self-diagnosis.
And chemo complication. For cancer patients, losing their hair is often a side effect. How a new product could replace a current preventative method.
Right now, a cold cap is one of the only ways to really help stop hair loss caused by chemotherapy, but it can be very painful for patients. One researcher has developed an alternative to a cold cap, and many are calling it a game changer. It's a new water-based gel that contains adrenaline and lidocaine. Both are commonly found throughout hospitals. Patients can apply the gel during their treatments, just like shampoo, to stave off hair loss.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is typically thought of as a childhood condition, but more adults are realizing that their struggles with attention, focus, and restlessness could be, in fact, undiagnosed. Barb Concilio shares the force that's driving more awareness, but may also lead people down the wrong path when it comes to treatment.
As Allison Burke supported her daughter through an ADHD diagnosis, she couldn't help but notice similarities in her own life.
As I took her through that process and learned more about it, it was definitely like a light bulb moment. And I thought, I think a lot of this sounds familiar.
ADHD is a lifelong disorder, but those who go undiagnosed in childhood often carry unaddressed symptoms into adulthood, affecting work, relationships, and even their self-worth.
I really struggled with feeling like I could be good at anything because it just felt like it took so much energy to get it accomplished.
Awareness of ADHD in adults is growing thanks to trending social media videos racking up millions of views.
10 key signs of ADHD to look for in girls.
They've been a great way for people who may not have considered that they've had this disorder before to really consider it and to think about it.
A new national survey by the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center finds 25% of adults now suspect they may have undiagnosed ADHD. But what worries experts is that only 13% have shared their suspicions with their doctor. That's raising concerns about the consequences of self-diagnosis.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. The man accused of shooting 8 people, killing 3 of them at a Southport bar, is in court today. 40-year-old Nigel Edge is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Investigators say he fired shots into American Fish Company from his boat on Saturday night. Victims of the shooting have not been identified at this time.
And we are still working to learn more about the person found dead in the landing gear of a plane at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. The body was found during maintenance work for the American Airlines plane that had recently arrived from Europe yesterday morning. American Airlines says it is working with law enforcement.
North Carolina is under a state of emergency as Tropical Storm Imelda will pass off our coast. Here in the Triangle, we're seeing a steady rain that's expected to build through the day. The latest National Hurricane Center advisory shows Imelda continuing to strengthen. It's expected to become a Category 1 hurricane tomorrow, but will hook right and head out to sea.
It is National Coffee Day, so drink up. According to research, coffee can help improve your cognitive function with things like focus and memory. One registered dietitian recommends light and medium roasts because they retain most of their antioxidants, which protect cells. Cold brew is another great option for those with acid reflux.
So coffee being a plant, it has all the health benefits associated with plants, right? With all the things that we naturally think about. So we're talking about antioxidants, we're talking about polyphenols, and with that improves our health by improving our blood sugars, our blood pressures, cardiovascular health.
It is also important to be mindful of your daily caffeine intake. Adults should only have about 2 to 3 cups of coffee. Out of context, coming up this afternoon at 4, our PolitiFact team is checking claims about a post Tylenol made in 2017 about whether women should use the pain reliever while pregnant. Why the company says it has been taken out of context.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL news app.